Okay, so I'm presenting Layla Heminger's National Park Spotlight, and this is Mount Rainier National Park. And like she says on the first slide, it was established in 1899, and it is in the state of Washington. So check this out with me. Not Washington, D.C., which would be over here by Maryland, but Washington State. And I want you to make an observation there. So think about this. Is this location coastal or a little more inland? And the correct answer there is it's definitely a little more inland. Now, Layla didn't have to do this, but check out what she did. She put in here a close-up of the park. So you can see in green the park boundary, but notice that it's very close to Seattle. So if you ever get out to the West Coast and fly into Seattle, Mount Rainier National Park's right there. As a matter of fact, from the Space Needle, which is a famous Seattle landmark, you can see Mount Rainier on a clear day. And this is what you see. So you can see that this is Mount Rainier, which is a stratovolcano. It's part of the active Cascade volcanoes. And you can see this would be in their spring, which would be more like the start of our summer, June, and the wildflowers are blooming. And then this is one of Layla's favorites. It's Narada Falls, I think is how we say it. So in the springtime, they would have lots of snow melt and lots of beautiful waterfalls. And then this area is still Mount Rainier, but notice it's at nighttime with that crescent moon and just a beautiful picture. So she actually put a fourth one in here. Excuse me, I misspoke. This is her video. So take a peek at what it would be like to travel from Seattle, which is only about a 45-minute drive, and spend a day at Mount Rainier.
Since arriving in Seattle, I've been admiring Mount Rainier from afar, but today we're leaving the city to experience it up close.
We're going to go to Mount Rainier today. We're going to see some amazing sights, see some glaciers. We're going to see one of the tallest mountains in the lower 48 states, some big oak growth trees, some waterfalls, and some amazing things.
Whoa! This is Christine Falls, and just look at how the water has carved its way through the rock face and really smoothed out certain spots. It's postcard perfect. We've stopped to learn about this massive tree. It's a nurse tree because it's fallen, and now it is nourishing all of the trees and growth and mushrooms around it. When you arrive at Paradise, you're given some time on your own, so you can have lunch, but also make sure you head off and explore some of the pathways that take you through the trees and the different nature. It's just stunning out here. At over 14,000 feet, Mount Rainier is the tallest mountain in Washington State. It has been a glorious day heading out of the city to the Cascades to take in the exceptional nature of this national park. And then just as we're about to leave, Mount Rainier popped out of the clouds. I can go home happy.
So I hope you enjoyed that, and that gave you a sense of the park. We saw there Christine Falls, and Paradise, by the way, is the name of the main visitor center that's at the base of Mount Rainier, and it's called Paradise because of the wildflowers that bloom there in that meadow in the summer. But listen to Layla's landscape explanation. She says around 500,000 years ago, or 500,000 years is the same number, Mount Rainier started to grow. Now, when we think of 500,000 years for our planet, is that a long or short time? And the answer is short time. And here's the story. It was formed because two plates collided. One plate was made of oceanic crust, the other of continental, and you know the story now. That oceanic crust sinks, and as it sinks under the continental, and the reason for that is because the oceanic crust is more dense. It melts into magma, forming volcanoes. So Layla's park is completely full of igneous. Again, her park is called Mount Rainier. All volcanic rocks come from cooled magma and are igneous. Now, here is a diagram of what she just explained. So notice how here's the coast, and I said Mount Rainier is a little bit inland because there needs to be some space for the subducting. And so here's the Juan de Fuca plate, which is oceanic crust, going under the North American plate, melting into magma. So Mount St. Helens, Lassen Volcanic National Park, and Crater Lake would all be in this line of northwest United States volcanoes called the Cascadian Subduction Zone, or the Cascade Mountains. Now, her connection to, oh, by the way, when we type, our dominant force will be volcanoes, subduction zone. So her connection to class was that it was like Mount Fuji when she learned about volcanic mountains. So this would be the same as Japan. Now, her attractions, we've already seen Christine Falls in the video, and Paradise, and Mount Rainier itself. She has the Crystal Mountain, and I think that's just referring to the amount of snow. Look at this. It averages 486 inches of snowfall, giving people plenty to smile about, says Layla. Now, this one, I don't know if I'm saying it quite right, Tipso Lake. So it's a popular attraction, and it has a nice sunset, and you can see Mount Rainier is reflected in that lake. And then finally, Mowing Lake, and she says that this lake gets its name because the Native American Chinook name for deer. So Deer Lake, because they populated here. And this is actually a high elevation lake. Mount Rainier is 14,000 feet, and the lake itself is almost 5,000. Okay, so her animals are super cute. This is a mink. Check that out, right? And you can see some of them have white fur and blend in. And then she has the mountain fox of Mount Rainier. And I don't know if this is super cute, but it's definitely interesting. Look at the feathers and the coloration on that grouse. And then she put her plants next. So she has a herbaceous perennial, looks like a lily, pink mountain heather, and then bear grass, which is very common there. You can see lots of precipitation. And then her current event, I'm sorry, she actually forgot, but she put this. Her favorite attractions were Tipso Lake and Narada Falls, and she really enjoyed learning about the park. Has so many wild flowers and also landscapes to visit. And if she went, she would like to ski and hike. So maybe many of you are like that. So pause me if you need to, but we're going to start typing. So Layla Heminger, so Layla, her park is called Mount Rainier. It's Rain and then IER is how you spell it, in the state of Washington. And for sure, her dominant force is volcanoes. But I want you to put not hot spot like Hawaii, but subduction zone like Japan. So you're putting volcanoes and in parentheses, subduction zone. And then finally, the attractions that you might want to see or do. This is just Mount Rainier itself. And the visitor center there is called Paradise. So if you put Paradise, Mount Rainier, you're bound to get the beautiful mountain with all those wildflowers. Plus we have Narada Falls. Plus we have a couple different lakes, Tipso Lake and Mowing Lake. So I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. You'll be planning your dream